In the least shocking turn of events in American history, it has now been revealed that Charlie Kirk's killer, Tyler Robinson, was living with a transgender man that is being described as his roommate / partner. Now, we are going to dive headfirst into this information because this roommate's information and his photos, they're getting exposed as we speak, and it looks like he's actually cooperating with law enforcement. So I don't know if we're going to see this guy / wannabe gal arrested or not. But we're going to go ahead and dive right into the information. First, though, I need your help. You guys already know that this platform does not like when we talk about this type of stuff, especially that group of people that believe that men can be women and women can be men. They don't like when we talk about them. So I need your help. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you share the video. The media is already covering this up. We know what they're going to do to try to bury this story. So share this video. Drop a comment below. If you would like to donate, you know how. But with that being said, let's go ahead and dive right in. Tyler Robinson's roommate, who tipped off FBI, is identified as family refused to deny trans motive for Charlie Kirk assassination. A 22-year-old wannabe professional gamer who lived with Charlie Kirk's alleged assassin gave cops incriminating messages leading to his arrest. Lance Twiggs turned over Tyler Robinson, who lived with him in a 3-bedroom apartment in St. George, Utah. Twiggs showed police text from Robinson about stashing a gun linked to Wednesday's shooting of the prominent conservative figure Charlie Kirk at Utah Valley University. His identity was revealed as separate reports emerged stating that Robinson was living with a trans partner who is cooperating with the investigation. It is unclear if Twiggs is the same person referenced in the earlier reports. His grandfather, Jerry Twiggs, says that he was unable to comment on rumors that his grandson is trans and that there was a trans motive to Kirk's murder. I don't want to comment on that. I'm not sure what his situation is exactly right now, he said. Jerry also confirmed his grandson had been talking with police, but that he had not spoken to him since. After he was with the police, he's been at his house, and there's no way for us to contact him without going over there. The police took his phones. Authorities are yet to confirm a motive, but Utah Governor Spencer Cox says that Robinson was deeply indoctrinated with leftist ideology. South Utah native Twiggs studied at Utah Tech University, according to his Facebook page. Robinson was also taking electrician training nearby at a technical college. And like Robinson, he was an avid gamer, posting game videos on TikTok, and in his bio it said, becoming TikTok pros, one terrible video at a time. He posted himself on social media playing popular games, including Apex Legends and Rocket League. Other comical videos he shared, including adding spaghetti to an Italian sandwich and microwaving a bottle of Mountain Dew. Friends told the Daily Mail that Robinson and Twiggs were part of a large group chat of dozens of gamer friends, mostly from Robinson's alma mater, Pine View High School, hosted on online chat network Discord. Robinson's alleged incriminating messages to Twiggs were also sent on Discord. Twiggs and Robinson's neighbor, Cable Phillips, said police arrived at their 2-story housing complex around 5:30 a.m. on Friday and cordoned off the surrounding area. Investigators were seen carrying out paper bags, envelopes, and a personal computer. A forensics team photographed the exterior and worked their way inside the property. While they worked, neighbors stood behind police tape, watching in the early morning desert sunshine. Resident Josh Kemp says that Robinson would always blast music with his roommate and he would never talk to anybody. Oliver Holt, told the paper that when he was looking on, and mind you, Oliver Holt is an 11-year-old. He said that he was walking around knocking on doors, looking for odd jobs. But Robinson opened the door and was acting really strange and kept glancing back into his apartment, acting kind of nervous and scared. A Zillow listing shows photos of Twiggs in Robinson's apartment at the Fossil Hills housing complex in St. George, a 1,400 square foot space with 3 beds and 2 baths. The property listing said the current owner had roommates bringing in a total of $900 a month for just 2 of the bedrooms. An affidavit supporting the murder, obstruction, and felony firearm charges against Robinson described the roommate handing over bombshell text to police after the killing. Robinson sent messages to Twiggs, who was not named in the law enforcement filing, stating a need to retrieve a rifle from a drop point. Robinson allegedly texted about leaving the rifle in a bush. Messages related to visually watching the area where the rifle was left, and a message referring to having left the rifle wrapped in a towel. The messages also referred to engraving bullets and a mention of a scope and the rifle being unique. Messages from the contact Tyler also mentioned that he had changed outfits. At his parents' nearby home on Friday afternoon, Twiggs' father Tyler, we got 2 Tylers now. Twiggs' father Tyler said no one in the family would be commenting. It appears that Twiggs and Robinson became close after the alleged suspect graduated high school. He received a $32,000 scholarship to Utah State University, but only attended 1 semester in 2021 as a pre-engineering major. He later enrolled at Dixie Technical College in his hometown of St. George, which is in the extreme southwest of Utah near the Arizona border, and was a third-year student in the electrical apprenticeship program, a statement by the college said. Okay, so I have a lot of questions. I'm sure you guys got a lot of questions too, and some of these questions will undoubtedly be answered over the coming days and weeks. But my main question is, why is Lance not in jail? Why did they not put Lance in handcuffs and haul him off after reading those messages? Like, I get it. He's cooperating. But I feel like they're over-exaggerating his cooperation. Like in these articles, they're like, yeah, he turned him over, he turned him in. No, he didn't. Law enforcement showed up at their apartment, and when law enforcement showed up, Lance realized the jig is up. So Lance, knowing that he's not the one that pulled the trigger, Lance wanted to go ahead, okay, you could have the cell phone, you could have the computer, here's the messages, right? So yeah, it's nice that Lance cooperated with law enforcement once they arrived at the house, but my thing is this. Lance didn't tell law enforcement what Tyler was going to do before he did it. Lance didn't tell law enforcement what Tyler did after he did it. It was only once law enforcement figured everything out that Lance is like, yeah, here's the messages. So look, Tyler is not living with that trans dude in their apartment together playing video games without that guy knowing what Tyler was going to do. And from the limited information that we have about the messages that Tyler was sharing with his roommate, with his little boyfriend, his secret trans lover, we know that there had to be some prior knowledge. You think that Tyler just did an information dump after killing Charlie and was like, yeah, hey, I'm looking at the rifle in the bush. Look, this is what I etched in the bullets. No, the messaging in the ammo that Tyler used, the messages engraved in the ammo were trans messaging and gaming messaging, stuff that most of the people following this case know nothing about, because this is like young people stuff. Too young for me. And speaking of young people, there are plenty of mothers and fathers watching this video right now. Tyler and his friend Lance, not only were they radicalized in school, you got to be careful sending your kids off to college. You're basically sending your kids off to be indoctrinated. Half the kids are getting degrees that are meaningless, that are useless, and if they're not useless now, they're going to be useless in 5 or 10 years, the way that technology is rapidly developing. So half of the stuff people are going to college for, the jobs that they're hoping to get, those jobs aren't even going to exist in a few years due to AI and robotics and all of that other stuff. So half of these kids are going to college for no reason, just spending up all of their mommy and daddy's money, taking out these crazy school loans, and they go to these colleges and they get indoctrinated. You send your son off to college a sweet mama's boy, and he comes back a far left-wing trans lunatic. And I've looked into Tyler's family. They seem to be a nice, loving, supportive family. I don't know as much about Lance's family yet, but at first glance, I have been looking at his mother's social media and stuff like that. At first glance, it looks like Lance had a loving, supporting family as well. So what's the two things that Lance and Tyler had in common? They had nice, supportive, loving families that sent them off to college, and then they totally changed. And it's not just college. It's these gaming chat rooms online that are very dangerous. You got predators in there preying on kids 24/7, and you got kids in these gaming chat rooms getting indoctrinated. I'm talking Roblox, anything that you can think of. It doesn't have to be the violent games. No, half the time it's the little kid games where people are building their own houses and cities. You got to be careful on these gaming chat rooms. Mothers and fathers out there, if you got young teenage boys and girls, but mostly boys, you need to start checking what's going on in these little chat rooms and these little Discord servers that they're participating in. Because that's where a lot of the indoctrination is taking place. That's where a lot of the planning is taking place. And there's groups, there's entire groups of people, I've exposed this in the past, there's entire groups of young people who inspire to be the next assassin. They inspire to be the next person like Tyler Robinson. They look at people like the people who carried out the Columbine attacks and various other evil figures throughout recent U.S. history, and they inspire to be like them. And these networks, you know, they're all coming together and communicating via like gaming platforms, gaming chats, gaming discords, Reddit, all of these different, you know, platforms that these kids are using these days. So you got to be careful, because that's where the radicalization came from. And it didn't just happen to Tyler. It looks like it happened to Lance as well, even though Lance isn't the one that pulled the trigger. But yeah, I think this dude should be arrested, because it's not like Tyler's living with this guy and he had no knowledge that Tyler was going to go do what he did. He knew, and I believe other people knew as well. And I think that we need to stop saying that Tyler acted alone and that he was a lone gunman, because even if, at the very least, Tyler was just in communication with with a network of weirdos like him, that lets me know that Tyler's not alone. And I guarantee you there are other people out there who were in communication with Tyler that may be plotting and planning their own type of things, like what happened to Charlie Kirk. So I want to nip this problem in the bud before it's too late. But I don't think that's going to happen. I don't trust that we're going to get the truth about this case anymore, especially now that the trans roommate has entered the picture. Because this does not fit the mainstream media's narrative, but it also doesn't fit the narrative of people who are behind the scenes still pulling strings in this country. But at the very least, as of right now, we know that Lance knew. Therefore, Lance should be getting some charges. At the time of this recording, that hasn't happened though. And they may try to spin this, and regardless of how they spin this, we already know that Lance knew. We already know about the messages. So if you do not see Lance get arrested, if you do not see any charges come for Lance, then you know that law enforcement is not fully doing their job. Plain and simple. And I'm not impressed by the job that they have done so far, if you want me to be real with you. And I got some shocking information that I'll bring you later. Because, yeah, I'll just save it for later. There's some things in here that are really, really frustrating me, and some stuff that's not adding up about this investigation. But for now, you guys let me know your thoughts about this down in the comments below. While you're down there, hit that thumbs up, hit that subscribe, ring that notification bell, and I'll talk to you all very soon at the next one.